Okay guys, a couple of people have been covering this, probably not as in detail as I have. I made quite a few videos talking about the shit show that is the PS1 Classic. I made several videos about it. And this one's no different. However, I have a article linked down in the description for you guys talking about why the PS1 Classic failure is a big deal. Now, they happen to touch on a few things, and one of them really stood out to me. They're saying, well, what if the whole nostalgia thing has died off? What if people didn't like to drink? I mean, you're asking a hypothetical here in an article. And I'm going to tell you why that is an invalid point. Both Nintendo and Super Nintendo systems sold substantially well. In fact, the NES Mini in June outsold a PS4, Xbox One, and a Switch. So it's not that nostalgia isn't there. The reason the PS1 failed, in which I've said this several times, was Sony's lackluster fuckery and cash grabbiness up their ass. They didn't give a fuck about this system. Nintendo cared about theirs, and it shows in the finished product. Okay? And the reason this is a big deal again is because, one, Sony basically shit on all their fans with this console. And two, there's reviews on websites. If I can find a few, I'll put them in a link. And it might not be there when you're watching this. It might be later because I still have some shit to go do. But here's the thing. It's down to fucking $60 and people are still saying the cost is too high. Think about that. Oh, and in case you were wondering, the real original price of the PS1 Classic was $110. Excuse me. Because you needed to buy the power brick. It's $10. So we started off at 110, we're down to 70. People are still saying it's too high, and I fully agree with them. And I've covered this in several videos. I'm not going to go into too much detail because if you need all that detail, please feel free to go watch the multitude of videos I've made talking about this. Okay? But when you have a core console plug and play like this that only succeeds thanks to the hacking and modding community, you know you failed. Hell, you knew you failed from the first time you mentioned it. We've never seen Sony have any issues like this. Never. Never have we ever seen Sony struggle this bad. Hell, the PSP and the PS Vita didn't do this bad. This is the first time we're seeing Sony fail on such an astronomical level. I mean, think about it. Never have you seen an article that quoted Sony's own IPs run better on their competitor. I made a video about it. Feel free to go check it out. It exists now. It does. And I pointed this out in that video as well. The SNES emulation is actually weaker than the PS1's. Yet, it runs their games better. That had to be the final nail in the head of the coffin for this fucking thing. I'm thinking once it drops down to about $30, I'll pick one up so that you guys can be like, oh, well, you don't have one, you shouldn't be talking about it. No, I don't have one. And the reason I don't have one is because I respect the legacy that was there. This machine, its own creators don't respect its legacy. And it's apparent, and I've said this as well, At Games is no longer the worst plug-and-play company under the sun. Sony, you surpassed them. Anybody else? Anybody else want a good shot at the throne? Because it's ridiculous. Are you a Sony fan? Take them to task for that. You let them know. I don't want another fucking plug and play from you. You didn't care enough to get it right the first fucking time. You let them know. I've let them know several times what I don't like about them. And I'll continue making videos to let you know what I don't like about them. And I've said this before. I made a whole video, I think, titled 2020 is going to be the end of Sony. And I was thinking, hey, they're fixing to turn it around in 2018 because a lot of positive shit was going on. And then E3 happened, and the plug and play announcement after Nintendo Direct, which I've said before was a terrible idea, it just has gone downhill since. So, again, if you're a Sony fan, speak up. It's your time. But don't come at me with the bullshit. Take it to them. Because I'm telling you right now, even the most diehard Sony fan is not going to stand by while 49% of the games on the plug and play are of the wrong region.